Well, it's day 23 of hurricane season, and right now we're at 5.6 A's. The Northeast Pacific might be quite a bit below average, but that will change soon, perhaps. So let's get into our outlook. So, subtropical depression 4, which I went over yesterday, a few moments ago, it was named Tropical Storm Dolly. 102 millibars, 45 mile per hour winds. You can see in the NHC headlines, it's expected to become post-tropical by Wednesday. Let's take a quick glance at the cone. You can see it doesn't really have much time to do much. It's forecast to be a storm. It's forecast to degenerate to just a remnant low within the next 12 to 24 hours. So Dolly's probably not going to amount to much. Looking at the satellite loop, of course, it has a little bit of deep convection, but not too much. Looking at the ADT for the SATCON, how about we look at SATCON? Yeah. Before, looking at the SATCON, most member consensus is generally around 999, 40 knots, but NHC going a little higher with 102 knots, probably based on something. Based on the forecast discussion, kind of short, but there was a satellite scudometer, so satellite measured winds, and they found 35 to 40 knot winds in the southern part of the storm. And yeah, so let's move on to our next kind of topic. So we have we have two reds out in the eastern Pacific. You can see. So, and we have an orange, and we have a potential another red down here. The eastern Pacific is kind of lighting up at the moment. So, with red X number 1, the furthest west one. So, a small low pressure area. So, an area of low pressure located to the south of Baja continues to produce. So, Baja continues to produce an area of cloudiness and showers, although the shower activity, so it's become a little less organized, but the environmental conditions are there and it is expected to form. This one, so disorganized showers and thunderstorms are located a few miles southwest of the Gulf of Tehuantepec. I don't want to butcher it. Tehuantepec. I don't know. Okay. Associated with a tropical wave, environmental conditions are expected to be conducive. So again, conducive environmental conditions south of the Gulf of Tehuantepec. And we have another one. So another area of disturbed weather is forecast to form south of the Gulf of Tehuantepec by late this week. Environmental conditions are expected to be conducive for gradual development of this system. So again, this system, high chance. This system, probably a pretty high chance too. It's just a little further out. So the NHC is being a little more conservative. This system, high chance too. This system over here, this system is starting to become a little less likely to form. So, yeah. Looking at the loop for that system, you can see it's kind of disorganized. Just not much. Looking at visible satellite, visible high res. If sunrise would actually come, well, you can see, and it's not super organized, but it does have some deep convection associated with it. So let's take a look at the models. This system over here is the GFS expects it to form in the next day or two. I wouldn't be so sure. The system doesn't really expect much from the central system, but so from this system, it expects it to form pretty soon. Doesn't expect much from this one, and from this one, it also expects some formation pretty soon, within 68 hours. Takes it up the Mexican coast, kind of kills it off. And then this next system makes it into a pretty long-lived hurricane. And we'll get to that in a second. Yeah. See, now looking at the CMC model, well, the run isn't completely finished, but you can see that within the next few hours, it goes and forms our little friend here. Let's get the invest designation for this one. Our friend here, 93E, 93E. So you can see most intensity guidance kind of brings it into the 50 to 60 knot range, so around 60 to 70 miles per hour. I would expect a peak around there. Most track guidance brings it south of Hawaii, so I would not expect storm there. Kind of dissipates it before Hawaii, so not much of a threat to land. And you can see our little farthest east friend here. It kind of strengthens it and brings it into the southwestern and brings it into northwest Mexico. Kind of similar to yesterday, some models. A little FM knock. Oh, let's not look at the FM knock. It's not high res. The icon shows another storm out here. And it shows this storm getting kind of powerful, but in the end, it shows a formation of really only one storm. Just that one. Maybe it forms a storm, kind of borderline almost. This storm, it does show formation. This storm down here, it shows it starting to form, or the yellow X, it shows it starting to coalesce. Taking a look at the ECMWF, you can see that it does in fact form the west storm. It does not form these two systems, but it does form this system. It even has another one behind it. I would be a little skeptical of that, because remember, it's pretty far out at this point. Well, and so I think there's one more thing to discuss. So there's a potential C.A.G formation event. So it's just so right now, let's go zoom out to our world view. You can see right now our 200 millibar chi anomalies, which is rising pro-cyclonic air, are high over the eastern Pacific. Eventually, they're forecast to be high over Central America. So that's forecast to form a Central American gyre, which is rotational winds. And so basically those can form tropical cyclones, often in the Caribbean or Eastern Pacific. So again, I think we're gonna have to watch maybe the first week of July for a little possible the first and second weeks of July for a little action possible. It's still too early to really give many details, but a C.A.G formation event is possible, along with the tropical cyclone. The GFS goes a little crazy here and gives Mexico a strong tropical storm, which it's kind of getting to that time of year, but it's still too early to really say much about the system. So again, just to recap this video, well, we have Dolly in the Atlantic. In the Eastern Pacific, we have the Three Stooges, the Three Musketeers, Three Amigos, whatever you may want to call them. Of course, we have our one little yellow X behind that. And we have a possible Central American gyre and tropical cyclone formation event farther out in the range. So thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments.